19, you will see the pre-paper 1 and 2 era. They wrote 3 hours, 300 marks, and they combined the cash flow first part, second part interpretation. Once I start giving you papers from 2018, 2017, 2016, you always look for the cash flow question because the analysis would be the second part. So let's do this. This thing doesn't look like it. Let me just go back. I just want to make it, or maybe if I switch on this light. There, that's better, ne? Okay, so they say, here's the cash flow. Let's quickly answer. They say, 3 financial statements are provided, blah, blah, blah. Say which one is which. Okay? So they want to know where these things go. Nay. So profit on sale of asset will go to the income statement. Amount due to shareholders will go to the balance sheet. The total amount spent on repurchase of shares will go to the cash flow. The total income tax goes to the income statement. Sorry, I thought income statement was A. Okay. So, now they say the financial year ended on 28 February 2019. Calculate the following figures. Can you see it's very seldom they will either give you the face, ne, with amounts and details missing, or they will give you the face and then say just calculate separately like they. So can you see it's the same thing that they usually do with note 3. It's the same type of thing. Okay. So what do they want? Income tax, dividends, shares issued, fixed asset purchased. So here we go. First one, income tax paid. Can you see the spacing is very small? It's really not big, but you work with it. That's why I give you the answer sheets, that it doesn't come as a shock once you are there. And your answer sheets is divided in 2 parts, so you have to work even smaller. So when you get to the exam, it's like breathing a bit. You see, then it's even a little bit bigger. Okay, but let's look. Income tax. You don't even have to say it's such. Ne? You can just divide that into 2 and put the amounts in. Opening and a closing in a bank, and income tax. Receivable and payable, receivable and payable. Okay, let's do this. And I don't have the info. Why don't I have the info sheet?
Wait,
yeah.
That one is my writing.
Okay, so let's look at the info. On the info list.
No, I gave you the wrong one again. Take this one.
I love you. So let's start again. Here we go. Is it the Horizon one? It's this one, eh? Page 17. Okay. So now let's look at page 17. What am I looking for? Income tax, which is given here. Okay. And Cheryl Sash, ne? There we go. Okay. So I see the income tax is 477,900. So now because you've got that right, if you have any other figure there and you have an answer, it means you already got 2 out of 4. Okay? So now let's go look. Sash is a receivable opening. It's a payable closing. You see? So I'm going to deduct both. So it's what? 81 that I deduct, and it gives me
396,900.
Now because they ask calculations, they're not going to mark brackets. But let's be safe and rather put your bracket so that they know if by any chance they decide they want to mark the effect as well. So rather show your bracket Rather show it than not. Next one. Next one, they want the dividends. So what do I want with the dividends? I'm going to take the opening balance, paid. With dividends paid, I want to get my opening balance for shareholders, the 195. And then I want to add the interim dividend. So the interim dividend, I will find where they talk about shares and dividends. So they talk here at number C of shares and dividends. And I want to look for the interim. Can you see the interim was paid 31st August, 35 cents. So now if I go look here on the timeline, I see 31st August happened here, right? So it happened on 1.8 million shares. You can see it because there was 1.5 the start of the year. Oh, sorry, it's 1.2 million shares because I repurchased 300. So I'm going to work on 1.2 million shares, at 35 cents. You guys must just be aware that they can make an extra note there where they say these shareholders will still qualify for the interim dividend declared later, whatever. They can have a thing like that. Okay? So just make a note of that. But they have to say it explicitly. Otherwise, you give dividends to the shares in issue. Okay, so how much is that interim dividend? 6. Anybody?
420.
420. So, now I add this. And there we go, 4 marks. So in other words, that 420 is going to earn you 2 ticks. Please show your calculation because most probably it would be a bagel. 1 and 1 bagel. And this would be 1 and this would be 1. So let's go. Proceeds of shares issued. So now if you look here, can I write on this? Okay, so now if I look on this, I can see they actually already give me the note. And the new shares issued is going to be most probably, it's going to be the balancing figure. You can see that, ne? So if I look at this, sorry that I move like that. So 1.5 at 6 Rand 20 gives me how much? How much is that opening?
9,300,000.
9, yes.
Okay, so that's my opening. The repurchase, remember this, because they say it's repurchased at 6 Rand 90. I know that the total amount is 690. Oh, I have to make it a bit smaller. Is 690. What do I want? I want the average. So when I want the average, what do? I look where that repurchase is situated. And I see it's situated right after the opening. So I can take the opening of 9.3 million. Huh? Where did they give me the average?
620.
Thank you. Can you see it's going to be 620? Let's prove it. So if I do that, divided 1.5 million, it's obviously going to be 620 because I said 1.5 times 620 gives me 9.3. So at 620 times 300 gives me the average of
1,600,000.
like that. Okay, so I have to minus that. Now, I have a problem here at the end. Why do I have a problem? because they don't tell me what the issue price is, né? And they can't, because the issue prices would be different. Okay? So now I need to use a balance. So I go look at my balance sheet and I look for ordinary share capital and I see yes. Oh, and they actually did give me the opening as well. And it is 7724. Now my problem with this thing is, you've done it on the answer sheet, on the question paper. The marker will not be able to see it. So please go and transfer this information here, right? So that you can get part marks. So you're going to take the closing, 7724. You're going to add the average, 1860. You're going to subtract the opening, 9300. It's 5 marks, ne? 6 marks. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So because this one counts so many marks, you also show there, how did you get to it? And you say this is 300,000 times 6 Rand 20. Because I can promise you there's going to be allocation of marks. If that amount is wrong, they're going to look for this. Okay. So what's my answer? 284 Dalmatians. Okay. And another pup as well. Okay. You know, the 1 grade 12 group even had the unborn for 10. So it was Dalmatians, pups, and unborn. Yeah, unborn was 10. Okay, so here we go. Fixed assets purchased, I draw a T, and you don't even have to write what it is because there they tell you it's fixed assets. So I have an opening, a closing, whatever I buy, an asset disposal, and because it's at carry value, a depreciation. And I go look in my face of my balance sheet, and because it's on the face, I know this is carry value. But can you see how friendly they are? They even tell you that. So, even if you just put the opening and the closing and nothing else, you already got 3 marks. There? There you already got 1, 2, 3. Already 3 out of 5. So now let's see. Obviously they have to give me the disposal and the depreciation. The depreciation I will find in the income statement. There it is, 408. And the disposal they have to tell me. So let's see, do they tell me anything disposal? Yes. Fixed assets were sold at carry value, 490. And now I just balance it and I get what? 2071. One puppy. Okay. So, calculate the financial indicators. So remember, you do not get marks for writing down the ratio. It's just there to help you. Okay? So you say, percentage operating profit on sales. So it's going to be operating profit on sales. So what is my operating profit? They give it to me in info A. All of this info you're going to find in A. And I see my operating profit is 2033,000. 900, sorry. Oh, that is a horrible error because that will make me have it wrong. Then I get 0 out of 2. So you guys have to be awake, ne? Sales 87,25000 times 100, and it gives me 23. Why on earth does it count so much? 23%. Yo, this is wonderful. So they literally, I do not know how they marked that. I think what they did is they said 1, 2, 3, 4. But this will not, remember this was 2019. I can promise you now, 2025, this will be 2 accuracy marks. Okay. So, net asset value per share. I know she talks too much, ne?
No, she just overshares.
She overshares. Okay, so here we go. If I don't say times 100, my answer will be a rand. If I times 100, my answer would be cents. Okay, so shareholders' equity, they give me, it's what, 8625. Shares in issue, they tell me the final ones is 1240. Okay, I'm not going to times with 100 because I want my answer in rands, and that will give me. Or, if you times with 100, it's going to be 696 cents. Okay, your debt equity, it's always first the loan, then the girl. Loan to she. Why? You need money to go buy a car, ne? Okay, let me just switch off this. I can't understand where the cold wind is coming from. I thought it's the window open, but it's the fan. Yes, because I was hot, running around up and down. Here we go. So the loan they give me, and always remember you use the current year, ne? So it's 3.5 million to shareholders' equity, which is 8625. I always, when it's like those, ratio, you always have something to 1. And I'm telling you in the exam, if you swap it, you're going to owe me a chocolate. Because I've said this 1,002 times already. So now I say 3.5 divided 8.6 gives me 0.4. Meaning for every 1 rand, ne, that I got on my own, I borrowed 41 cents. Meaning in the end, it's 1 rand 41 that I have. You see?
141.
Does it make sense?
No.